Welcome to the Defence Connect podcast, Australia's leading voice in national security and defence industry intelligence, direct from the nation's top policy and business experts.
Well, g'day everybody, Steve Kuper here at Defence Connect, and I know you have all no doubt been missing my dulcet tones and my visage here in our, what has taken a break recently. Through no fault of anyone.
We've been busy writing. We've been writing.
Rob, we'll blame Rob. But we are back. The trio is back. We do have the Rose Between the Thorns, Bethany Alvaro.
Hello.
And the Gentle Giant slash computer, Rob Dougherty. Fact checker.
Yeah.
Joining
Get the team
us
back together.
Yeah, we got the band back together. So I'm obviously the lead singer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Rob's bass guitar.
That
Bass
seems
guitar gets all the
fitting.
attention, right? That's good. I'm pretty sure.
No.
No? Is that not right?
Bass gets overlooked.
You're
Sorry.
our resident muso
Yeah.
expert.
Yeah.
Bass guitarists in the bands are always like, they're interesting.
Well, you're an interesting
No
guy.
offense.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll go with that. Yeah.
It depends on what context, but it
Okay.
can be good for this
Okay.
context.
No, I think you
I'm
should
going to
be
assume good.
I think
Positivity.
you should be something obscure,
Yeah.
like a rock and roll cello player or something.
Oh, you know, a lot more bands are adding a lot more jazz kind of fusion stuff. Even like the heavier bands adding like trumpets and stuff.
Anyway,
Straying away from defence.
yeah, the
we're getting
band is
Yeah.
very much back together. Guys, how have you been?
Good.
Good. Busy.
Yeah.
Very busy. Very busy.
Yeah, very busy. You were out on HMAS Canberra recently for the fleet review. You got a trip there. How was that, mate?
That was pretty good. That was for Exercise Kakadu. And we thank Navy Comms for organising that. That was really good. We've got a couple of pieces out on that, and you can expect to see more of that come out in the coming weeks to months. Yeah.
And Bethany, what have you been tracking lately?
A lot of stuff about oil.
A lot of stuff about oil.
Yeah, but it's changing every day. So it's
So the PM saying, the PM and the energy minister are saying that, don't worry, we've got our oil stocks are at 15-year highs and don't stress, but we've just had a $20 million.
Yeah, spending
campaign.
$20 million on an ad is not where I think that is the best move right now, but that's okay.
It's a good ad. I've seen it.
It's
quite,
the
it's not
ad's
bad.
fine, but I don't know.
It's a
if
bit. It's
that's
very
what-
soft. Soft.
Yeah.
Soft. But I love the fact that this is all going on, and we're like, oh, there's an energy crisis, et cetera, oil crisis, and the first thing that we see is that WA is considering having their own separate stockpile. I love that from the WA government.
God.
They're assessing their own options.
Can they do that?
Yeah.
That is just quintessentially WA. As
They're
a WA
so
person.
parochial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're not really okay with these Easterners. We'll assess our own.
I reckon it's fine. That's fine. You want to secede? Go
It's
for broke.
it's secession again,
movement. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take all of our military assets out and all of that infrastructure out, and you're on your own.
Except that's where all the cash is from the iron ore mining.
Oh, well, there's plenty of
That's
iron
true.
ore around everywhere else.
It
Is
seems
there?
to be only digging there. In
That's
northern WA.
a separate conversation
Yeah,
for
that's
another time. But
Industrialising, yeah.
We've had a busy couple of weeks, and this week in particular is busy. We are recording this now on Wednesday, the 15th of April, the day before the Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister, Richard Marles, steps up to the podium at the National Press Club and unveils officially the 2026 National Defence Strategy and supporting integrated investment program, which we'll touch on a little bit later on. But that's not the only major announcements this week. We've had some significant restructuring with the ADF senior leadership, including a new Chief of Defence Force with Vice Admiral Mark Hammond being promoted from Chief of Navy to Chief of Defence, which is a great promotion. We also have Rear Admiral Matthew Buckley coming over from the Australian Submarine Agency. I nearly said Australian Space Agency because they have the same acronym. You guys need to sort that out. He will become the new Chief of Navy. And, of course, saving the best until last, Lieutenant General Susan Coyle, the first female Chief of Army, replacing Lieutenant General Simon Stewart.
I will say we went to a press conference at Exercise Kakadu for the Navy a couple of weeks ago, and at the press conference, Richard Marles was giving a lot of the statements. He was backed up by Vice Admiral Hammond, and there was a moment where I thought, Hammond is actually, a pretty legit CDF. I could see
He's
it.
actually a pretty...
Yeah.
You've got Rob's seal of approval there, Admiral.
Like, I feel like you could see it at the press conference that, speaking to some of the other defence personnel, they had a bit of a, I'm not saying a relationship, but they knew who he was. It sounded like he was the sort of leader that was talking to lower ranks about what was happening and what they wanted. And so this is at that presser a couple of weeks. I thought it could actually be a good replacement as CDF, as next CDF. So it's interesting that's come to pass.
Just like a turnover?
Yeah. So outgoing CDF, Admiral Johnston, who had 50 years in the Navy.
50
years, 48.
Jeez.
But we'll round it up. We'll give him an extra 2 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was only going to do the one term.
Yeah,
That was always
yeah.
known. And then just some natural attrition and changeover.
Yeah.
So we do wish Admiral Johnston and Lieutenant General Stewart all the best in their next endeavours.
It's interesting they went with another Navy one for CDF. I wouldn't have thought that would be usual. Because
they normally rotate it.
Rotate a bit more.
Yeah. But I think...
But he is a submariner, so maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah, and I think given the fact that Admiral Johnston's term was so short, it's not really considered
Maybe it's
like
a continuation.
full term kind of thing. Even though the term was up, it's but it'll be interesting to see how these appointments fit into the NDS and how that shapes it moving forward. But the submarine point is very well made.
Yeah, they picked up
Submariner point, rather.
with the appointment of Lieutenant General Susan Coyle. I think that's probably got the most attention.
Yes, it has. It has.
I
And
think she was previously with Signals or something like that.
yes, in early on in her career, and then when I first met Lieutenant General Coyle, she was the head of Information Warfare Division.
Yeah.
And then she went on and she became Joint Capabilities.
That sounds like it's the proximity to what we're kind of seeing in the future is quite good.
Yeah. And now Chief of Army.
Yeah. Yeah. And from what I'm hearing, very much the same as Hammond, for respected, among other defence peers and certainly a good candidate. Yeah, really good candidate.
Yeah. It's good
And nice to see a woman.
Yeah.
Yep, that too.
Good change of pace.
Yeah. Do we think there's going to be a change in the Secretary of
Well,
Defence?
there will be. All bets are on Scott Dewar taking over from Greg Moriarty.
Okay.
I nearly called him Professor Moriarty
From Sherlock Holmes.
from Sherlock Holmes, and I'm sorry, Secretary. That's
Maybe he'll like that comparison.
I don't know. Moriarty.
He's the villain.
He's the villain.
Yeah, but still like a...
Not saying that you're a
He's
villain,
smart
Secretary.
villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that was.
Do we think Moriarty will go somewhere else?
He is? He's already been confirmed.
Oh, he's already-
Dude, come on, catch up.
He's
I
a
know
US
you've been
one,
busy.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
US ambassador.
That's right.
He's succeeding outgoing
Kevin Rudd.
Ambassador Kevin Rudd,
Rudd.
who is plotting, no doubt, his rise to Secretary
that
General
sounds a bit
of
Moriarty-ish. Yeah. Yeah.
Secretary General of the United Nations, I believe, is what
I
he's
would
going
love
for.
to see that.
Oh God.
Sorry.
I
Actually, not really.
I'm on board with that.
I would
as
love
well.
to see that.
Yeah, I'm on board
I'm
with
a
that.
big fan of Kevin Rudd.
What did we
Where,
hire
we'll
you
give
again
Kevin
for?
11s or Kevin 07.
Kevin 07. I used to have a shirt. There was like a Kevin 07 like campaign shirt when I was like 4 or something. There's like photos. It's so
Okay.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
We don't get a vote, I don't think, for that.
No. Yeah. Interesting times.
Mm.
Rob, the US and Indonesia are strengthening their defence cooperation, including joint special forces training.
Yeah, so this one, it kind of came out of the blue in the middle of the week. And I remember we were talking about this a while ago with Lebanon. There was Indonesian peacekeepers put in there, and it was through Trump's Board of Peace. And Indonesia was very early.
In Lebanon or Gaza?
Might be. I want to say Lebanon. Maybe
thought it was
in
Gaza.
I have a feeling it's Gaza.
Could be Gaza. And Indonesia was one of the first add-ons to that. They very quickly went in there and said, yep, we want to be part of this. Obviously, they're getting paid to do that, but it's important to be on board. The fact that they've now got a major defense agreement with the US that says they're going to jointly work on defense technologies, and they're also going to do joint special forces training and more exercises together, I think is fantastic on the side of Indonesia. I think it's a really good play diplomatically. The juxtaposition between their president, new president, is
Subianto.
Subianto. He's essentially a hardline military guy.
Yeah.
He's come from the military. And I love the fact that the US is in there, Indonesia's in there. They're both saying, Hegseth is in there. He's a hardline military guy as well. And they're saying, this is the way we're going to do diplomacy through hardline military development. It's fantastic. It's a good approach. And typically we would have seen from the Australian government, we do diplomacy through aid, through different funding, humanitarian stuff as well. This hardline military approach is, I think, a better fit for Indonesia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think...
At the moment,
At
with
the
that
moment,
leadership.
yeah, I horses for courses, right? Like you need a degree of balance and nuance in how you deal with it, for sure.
Yeah.
We have quite a robust and strong relationship when it comes to counterterrorism operations and joint training operations and things like that with Indonesia. And we've had to develop that over the decades because of the extremism threat, and particularly there in northern Indonesia / southern Philippines.
Would you say this is them declaring for US or for China?
No.
It's still on the fence, right?
Yeah. I mean, Indonesia is one of those countries that can't really afford to outwardly declare.
This is a good halfway step, though.
I mean, I don't think we're going to see. I think for the most part, most of Asia will want to straddle some form of middle line, and will want to continue to do that. They won't want to pick a side overtly unless they're absolutely forced to. And I don't think that any of the actions of the US over the past month and a bit have really won any.
What would push them over to make it pick a side, outwardly?
It's a good question.
They've been pretty clear on they don't want anyone basing in Indonesia.
Yeah,
if there was some sort of basing,
fairly consistent.
Yeah. Or some sort of maybe territorial waters altercation.
Yeah,
that might be an indication. But I do think we've tried. We're currently Australia's doing some of these similar sort of defence exercises and joint training and stuff with Singapore in the same way that what's happening now with the US and Indonesia. I think this is a good opportunity for Australia to get in there with Indonesia and say we want to set some similar stuff up.
We already do it, though.
And solidify that.
Yeah.
We did one with Vietnam the other day as well.
I think it might be a different case.
Yeah.
Different case for
Vietnam's
Vietnam.
an interesting...
They're right on the border with China, and I don't think anyone knows which way they're going to go.
Well, historically, they don't like China. They did fight a war with China in the late 70s and mid to late 70s, and they beat the crap out of the Chinese as well. But, so there's those ancient ethnic and religious fights and territorial issues that kind of blur together that complicate the matter. So Vietnam's an interesting one. I can't necessarily see that. And then in this past week we've had the ironically enough, the Taiwanese opposition leader, who is the leader of the Kuomintang, which is Chiang Kai-shek's original party,
Yeah.
the Chinese nationalist leader who fled to Taiwan, going to mainland China and kind of saying, hey, let's have a peaceful reunification somewhere down the track. Let's talk about what that looks like. And that's really set a cat amongst the pigeons and raises questions over if it is a peaceful reunification where they decide.
Yeah.
There was always an element in the Taiwanese political system where there was a party that's
But
with
not Chiang Kai-shek's party. Like they were the original breakaway party, which is
there must be some pretty significant benefits happening there.
Yeah, there'd definitely be some pretty significant carrots to go with it. That's for sure. But yeah, interesting. And next, some progress on the Hunter class frigate program, which is good to see.
We haven't heard a lot about it actually.
Not lately. No. Most of the emphasis seems to be on the submarines and the frigates, the Megamis, which I'm still waiting on the contract to be signed.
Is that not signed yet?
Not yet. I jumped the gun based on information that I received out of Japan, and they made me look silly, which I'm not happy about. Which some of our other colleagues in the media were very quick to point out to me at a dinner not too long ago. I'll leave you guess who they are.
Could be anyone.
But it's fantastic to see some good news for the Hunter class frigate program with Sydney-based manufacturer Defence Seals and Spares securing a contract with BAE to supply essential components, including gaskets, step covers, and air cylinder caps for the first Hunter class frigate, which is a really important part of the
what are gaskets?
Gaskets.
Yeah, what's that?
Rob.
I've heard it, but I actually don't know.
I know what it looks.
Probably a seal of some kind.
I know what it's in. I can see it in my head. I just don't know how to explain it.
It's a mechanical seal that fills the space between two or more surfaces.
There you go.
Basically prevents pressure loss and stuff.
Yeah, maybe it's like it goes inside a cylinder.
Yeah, something like that. Could be.
So fantastic news.
Is there a timeline on that one, Hunter class frigates? Like the first one?
I think the first one's due at HMAS Hunter. I nearly said HMAS frigate. Bear with me, people. I'm dealing with a toddler who doesn't sleep a lot at the moment.
2032?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
That's not that far away. It's 2027 next year. That's weird.
Yeah.
They might want to get them sent out.
Yeah, time's flying. It feels like only yesterday that we signed the contract in 2018 for them. That was a dig.
2018.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. We're not going to throw any rocks.
I think enough rocks have been
thrown.
Yeah.
Of which I have thrown many myself. But no, it's good news. It's good to see that the frigates are humming along, and judging by some of the imagery we've seen, seems to be continuing along at pace, which is nice to see. Hopefully, when we get the ships, they will live up to expectations.
Yeah.
And that brings me to concerns, queries, suspicions around potential budget cuts and reallocations ahead of the National Defence Strategy.
Yeah. I think industry is pretty anxious about this. The feeling that I'm getting is that we've talked to a few people and they said they're a bit worried about reallocation. I don't like the word reallocation. They prefer to see more defence funding and then have that sort of shelled out. But when you start taking money from other programs and then putting it into, say, Ghost Shark or Ghost Bat or some of the other drone programs, that's the problem. Yeah.
Bethany, what have you been hearing from your Secret Squirrel network?
I don't really know. I think It'll be interesting to see like where all the money's going, because I feel like there's a lot of contracts always being signed and like a lot of internal work happening. So it'll be interesting to see like that from the federal perspective, like how much they're actually gonna put back into it. But I don't know. I think, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, not long now.
Yeah.
I will be very excited tomorrow. It'll be giddy like a schoolboy.
It'd be interesting to see whether, if there is funding, available, whether it's we're putting such and such amount towards this, or we're putting such and such amount until 2035 or 2030 towards this. There's a difference there.
Do you think there'll be much like funding available?
Well, that's the question.
Yeah, I think it'll be more of the latter. There will be this amount of funding out to
accelerate
out
to 2030, because that's what they did previously with their other funding.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be more along those lines. The only reason I can think of that they would want immediate funding is that currently they're doing FPV drone integration with the Australian Army, so they're doing those trials and training. If there was going to be immediate funding to actually get a bit of capability off the ground straight away,
no pun intended,
launch it,
Yep.
it'd be that program, because it's an immediate benefit. It's something that they've probably overlooked for the last 4 or 5 years with the Ukraine conflict. And so, I mean, I know the drone racing competition we recently had in Sydney, they were doing drone intercepts with drone-on-drone intercepts. And so that's something you could put a bit of money towards now and actually get some really good benefit out of straight away.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know what way it's going to go. We saw there seems to be some conflicting stories running around in the media, the ABC and AFR. We were talking about this yesterday.
A lot of different numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 billion, 5 billion, 7 billion. Is it new money? Is it reallocated money?
Yeah.
And I think the question for everybody to ask is, if it's reallocated money, where's it coming from and what's it being
taken from?
Yeah, what capabilities are being impacted? And then I think you heard a rumor around an additional 200 Bushmasters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. New Bushmasters. I think it was 100, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Originally reported it might have been over in Western Australia somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting. I do some of this kind of, talk, or you get these small leaks to the media about certain amounts of money and stuff. When you see that as a journalist, I don't know about you guys, but when I see that, I think if they're leaking some of this stuff now, which is positive, is it going to be that we turn on the news tomorrow and it comes out and it says it's reallocated from some program that is actually kind of something that we want to have?
Well, here's a
and
question.
it softens the blow.
Yeah.
Does it do we see money coming out of big ticket items like Hunter? Do we see them scaled back again?
Oh.
Do we see them go from 6 to 3?
That'd be a big change.
Do you think that could happen?
I don't know. Do we see a firming of the number for the general purpose frigates from what they have been saying is 11 to 6? Like how does this come out in the wash, and where does that money then go? Are we going to accelerate the delivery of Ghostbat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ghostbat's been hit some milestones this year.
It has, but I have also been reliably told that there is an appetite in Air Force to move away from putting all their eggs in one singular basket, and that they don't necessarily just want to focus on Ghostbat. There are other collaborative combat aircraft that they are interested in looking at. And then, okay, so we've spent all this money developing a capability, and I know that the Germans were interested in Ghostbat. Does that offset and recoup some of our losses? Like how does this work? It just seems to be a bit hodgepodge.
That's down the line. That if there was some sort of sale with Germany, that's a long way down the line.
Yeah. I mean, but the Germans want to move pretty quickly from memory.
Yeah.
I think they want to start receiving them by 2029.
Oh, wow.
which is very quick.
Yeah.
I would be thinking about it that way and thinking about what projects are on the chopping block. I would be looking at, well, what has been defunded previously? We know that I think artillery pieces were defunded previously and IFVs.
IFVs were, yes, they were scaled back from 450 to 129.
Yeah. So maybe we should be saying maybe they're going to cut some more of that back for drones.
But that's the question is, can they?
That's a rationale.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand the vector of attack. I'm wondering if there's already serious concerns about Army survivability with the limited number of IFVs that they would be getting now. Do they open themselves up to more criticism for by cutting phase 3 again?
Yeah.
And then at what point does it become a cost detriment to Hanwha to manufacture in Australia?
I don't think they've been overly concerned about that part of it so far. It doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't. And then we know that the second battery of HIMARS has also got to be announced.
Yeah.
Or
it's been
Strike
kicking
Master.
some goals. That's been kicking some goals.
Yeah. This week there was the GMLARS announcement, which was very good news.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Army and Lockheed Martin. And I will note, I don't know about you guys, but I have received multiple times. They weren't made here; they were assembled here.
Where
It's
were
a start.
they made?
Like the manufacturing
Yeah.
was done in the US, but
Okay.
the final
Put
assembly
together
was
here.
done here, which is
Yeah.
a start. I think it's important for people to keep that in perspective, that it's a start.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. Anything else? What are you going to be watching this coming week, Robert?
I think we'll be looking out for, I guess, flow-ons from the IP. You know, what's being cut, what's being funded. There's probably going to be some comments from Admiral because we're expecting Ghost Shark to get funded. Are we expecting more out of the Strait of Hormuz? There's
That's
a US
a good
blockade
question.
there now.
But apparently ships have been passing,
Yeah.
and the Chinese Navy has been deployed, which is,
Great.
that's fantastic. Let's just
Yeah. From what I've seen sort of shipping wise, I've had a look at some of the expert coverage there, and they're saying most of that shipping traffic out of the area coming to Asia is going to be halved. So they're still saying there's going to be big problems for Australian oil supply into the future, and the cost of that shipping is going to increase. So that's a
I did see a map last night on this, and it's the number of oil tankers now in the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, and it's quadrupled.
Yeah.
Because they're all waiting to get into Galveston and all the Gulf oil ports there to fill up. So
Wow.
it seems maybe there is method to the madness.
Yeah. It doesn't really help us because that's still twice as far away. So the shipping charge is bigger.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, Bethany, what are you going to be tracking this week?
Like the peace talks. I want to see if anything's actually going to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see if they will follow through or keep getting, having JD Vance come out time and time again saying nothing was met, nothing was reached. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
The 5 years versus 20 years of nuclear stalling was interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll wait and see before I get my opinions out on that.
Get your hopes up.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say I was having a chat with someone, and this was during the Iranian blockade of the Strait. And, we were talking about what would it take to open it and clear mines there and things like that. And it did occur to me, this is probably 2 weeks ago, hey, what happens if the US blocks it and they just let through their own approved ships? But damn, I could have could have foretold that. If I had
Well,
known.
hey, we know what's going to happen. The Chinese Navy's on its way as well. So
maybe there could be a three-way blockade:
Blockade.
Iran, China, and the US.
Oh, don't forget the New South Wales government with their tolls on the Straits of Hormuz as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe the Houthis jump in there as well. They have a
Yep.
blockade as well at
Yep.
the end. Yeah.
I don't think they've got a navy, but 4 dinghies and a rocket launcher all
Yeah.
will darken
Better than
anybody's day.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, as always, it's a pleasure. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to be back. And for people who want to stay up to date with the latest in defence and defence industry, head over to defenceconnect.com.au, or you can find us on YouTube and all your other social media outlets bar TikTok. Until next time, bye-bye.
See you then.